Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, our weekly news video, and you're not going to believe it, but this weekly news video is mainly about Red Bull. Unbelievable. We'll get into all that and more in just one moment. Before that, remember to like and subscribe, and a huge shout out to the members: Dakota, The Joyous James, Ryan Myers, Cinnamon Strudel, Michael Johnson, F, and our newest member, Edam on sandwiches. If you want to become a member, click the link in the description, either on YouTube or on Patreon. Both are now available. If you want to become part of the membership, get your shout outs, get your early videos, all that kind of stuff, that's there for you. But now, the news. Because if you haven't seen already, we've got a video out that came out in the week, a breaking news video, all about the situation with Red Bull. Liam Lawson being dropped, Yuki Tsunoda being promoted to the main Red Bull seat. That came out on, when was it? Monday? Thursday? All the days roll into one at this point. But that came out the other day. So if you want to see my initial reactions to that, that is there. What this video is going to be is mainly the reaction to it from inside the Red Bull camp. There is a couple bits of news that aren't Red Bull related towards the end. Not big things, but we have got reactions from the likes of Max Verstappen, Helmut Marko, and Liam Lawson, otherwise known as the Three Wise Men. Right, before we get into that though, there was a video that went out yesterday on the channel, the top 10 worst starts to F1 Championship winning seasons. That's available for you right now if you want to go watch that one after this one. And of course, the newest episode of Stop and Go Retro Review of 1981 went out on Tuesday as well. So loads of content available for you on this channel. It's unbelievable how much content there is, and the standard. What a wonderful place to be. Anyway, let's get into this now then with the news and the reaction of one Max Verstappen to all the stuff going on with Liam Lawson, because reportedly he is unhappy. He told Red Bull he wanted Liam Lawson to stay at the team. Red Bull have not listened and demoted Liam Lawson. This decision does not reportedly sit well with Verstappen. Reports from sources close to Red Bull are saying that Verstappen does not agree with the decision to swap Lawson. There have been claims that Verstappen doesn't want Tsunoda's career to be negatively impacted if he struggles at Red Bull. Although more clarity will emerge on the topic, it seems that Verstappen's influence on the Red Bull driver selection is very minimal. So there's a few things here to take from this. Firstly, the reason as to why he's not happy about it is because he reportedly doesn't think that it's going to do well for Yuki, which is a common theory. I also imagine he doesn't want Lawson's career to be swamped by this as well. The interesting thing is that his influence on the driver selection is very minimal, because we've seen in teams before. I think Fernando Alonso is one of the more famous ones. This has a big say in who his teammate is. So to see that Max gets no choice really, and if anything was actively ignored on this one, is very interesting. I understand where he's coming from in terms of Tsunoda's career being hit negatively, because if he does struggle, like Lawson has, like Checo has, like Albon has, like Gasly has, it will negatively impact his career from there. So yeah, that is interesting. It seems to be backed up though, because he has liked an Instagram post from Gio van der Garde, the former Formula 1 driver. He put this post out 2 days ago as of recording. It's a picture of Liam Lawson looking sad, so that's a good start. Oh no, I can just share my screen here, can't I? Bloody hell. Here it is, everyone. There's Liam Lawson looking sad. The post itself says, "I'm getting a bit tired of all the comments that F1 is the toughest sport in terms of performances, and when you underdeliver, you've got to face the consequences. Yes, you've got to perform. Yes, the pressure is intense, but in my opinion, this comes closer to bullying or panic moves than actual high athlete achievements. They made a decision, fully aware, gave Liam 2 races only to crush his spirit. Don't forget the dedication, hard work, and success Liam has put into his career so far to achieve this level where he is now. I remember my own blood, sweat and tears, and that was to reach F1, let alone drive for an absolute top team. Yes, he underperformed in the first 2 races, but if anyone's aware of that, it's himself. Perhaps he has suggested this himself, but if not, I wish Liam all the strength and courage to get to the grid in Japan. Trust yourself, get your head up, prove them wrong." And then he tags Liam Lawson there. This post has gotten quite a bit of traction, not only because it's a very good post from Mr. van der Garde, but also it has been liked by one Max Verstappen. It has also been liked by Oscar Piastri, Pierre Gasly, Nico Hulkenberg, and Jos Verstappen. And I think Jos even commented on it, unless the comment has now been deleted. I can't see it here right now. But I'm sure Jos commented on it as well, saying, yes, I agree. My name is Jos Verstappen. But I'm pretty sure Jos was or is Van der Gaard's manager. So maybe there's a bit of a connection there. But either way, Max publicly backing his now former teammates, Liam Lawson, in this situation here. And I think the takeaway that, because this whole situation, I think it's provoking a lot of emotions from people. Obviously, people are happy for Yuki because he's getting his flowers, kind of. In this situation, people are seeing that, Yuki, his performances are being recognised and he's getting that promotion, which a lot of people think he deserves, including myself. Think he has been very good. But also at the exact same time, this is almost like a punishment for Yuki because he's going to go into a car that probably is going to be quite difficult to drive. And also, from the other point of view of Liam Lawson, I think everyone agrees that his first two races haven't been good. There's no getting away from that. But also, I think most people also agree that to do this is incredibly, incredibly difficult and incredibly harsh on him. So I think it's a difficult situation because people agree and disagree with it at the same time. They agree that Lawson hasn't been good enough, but disagree that now is the time to do it. And they agree that Yuki deserves the promotion, but also disagree that, you should have done it before the season, not right now. So it's a weird one from that point of view. But, I think this is one of those huge domino effects that's going to affect lots and lots of people. But of course, with all things in life, we have to hear Helmut Marko's opinion. And you know what? I'm surprised this man hasn't started a podcast, because he just says whatever he feels like all the time. And it gets into the press anyway, so I guess he doesn't need a podcast. But it's just like, he's always talking, this bloke. Jeez. So, this is what he's had to say. And it's quite long, so I apologise, but there's a lot to get through here. Yuki Tsunoda is a fast driver, we know that, but he's had his ups and downs. That's why we thought Lawson was the better and stronger candidate. But Yuki has undergone a transformation. He has changed his management, and in this situation, this was simply the best option. Because even in Suzuka, although Lawson knows the track, on the other hand, Hadjar didn't know China and was immediately on the pace, almost as fast as Yuki, at least in qualifying. So it was a downward spiral that we needed to break in order to give Lawson a future in his career. Yuki has had ups and downs. I remember the 2 crashes in Mexico, for example. He simply wasn't as stable as he is now. Yuki's in his 5th year, and the experience in such difficult conditions is an enormous factor. Yuki has repeatedly emphasised that he is actually the right man for Red Bull. In order to make informed decisions, Red Bull has given Tsunoda 2 or 3 simulator sessions after the Chinese Grand Prix. The fact that Japan happens to be the next race is just a coincidence. And of course, Honda is happy with the decision, that is clear, but that wasn't a decisive factor. Honda's involvement ends at the end of this year. As for Honda's potential financial contribution to the deal, Marko added, that was not decisive and wasn't the motivation behind the decision either. Lots of things to get into here. Right, so firstly, another little swipe at Lawson, because he says, well, Hadjar didn't know China, but Hadjar was quite quick. Which, Hadjar was in an easier car to drive, but that's that. Also swiping at Yuki, being like, yeah, Yuki, we're good in your seat, but I do remember you crashed twice in Mexico. I haven't forgotten that, by the way. Interesting that after China, the Yuki was in the simulator 2 or 3 times. So that was the decisive thing that kind of, they looked at that data and went, okay, this is the guy to move. Because in the past we have seen, secret tyre tests for Ricciardo and even for Lawson last year. That was the decisive thing to change. But this time, just in the simulator, 2 or 3 times for Yuki Tsunoda. He says here the fact that Japan was next is a coincidence, but then also goes on to say that the financial contribution from Honda wasn't decisive and wasn't the motivation, but doesn't deny that it happened. So that reported 10 million from Honda looks like it is true. I've got to apologise for my voice, by the way. My throat's still not right, but there you go. I'm fighting through for you, the people. So yeah, that 10 million from Honda sounds like it is true, but don't worry, that wasn't decisive or the motivation behind it, but also the report that 10 million, the people who reported the 10 million also said that 10 million was on the basis that he was in for Japan. So who knows what's going on there. Like I said before, There's so many factors to this. Like, am I happy that Yuki's getting the chance to be in the top team? Yes. But do I think it's fair? No. So it's such like a grey area as for this topic. But yeah, there you go. That's what Helmut Marko's had to say. Liam Lawson has also commented on this. He put out a post on his Instagram page. If you haven't seen this, oh god, it was actually quite sad because he put up some photos of him as a kid. One second, I'll see if I can find it. I didn't bring it up beforehand. Where is he? Lawson. There he is. Liam Lawson. God, here we go. You haven't seen this. Here he is. This is Liam Lawson as a child. And this was a presentation he had to do as a kid about what his dream job is. And there he is with a photo of a racing driver. He's drawn himself. Very interesting drawing, Liam. No fingers. Also, the stomach is leaning over to the left. The leaning tower of Liam here. There you go. He wanted to be an F1 driver. And that's a photo of him from Red Bull. And back to Racing Bulls, of course, there. But this is what he had to say. Being a Red Bull driver has been my dream since I was a kid. It's what I've worked towards my whole life. It's tough, but I'm grateful for everything that's brought me to this point. To every one of you who stood by me, thank you for all the support. It means the world. Thank you to Visa Cash App Racing Bulls for a warm welcome. I'm excited to get back to work at one of my favourite places. And he's put the Japanese flag there emoji, but it just says JP on my computer. Will Buxton reaching out in support there, saying, this will be one chapter in the story of your life. The best is yet to come. Show them who you are. Show them all what you do. Will Buxton, since he's left F1, and now he's working for IndyCar and the commentary team then, more outspoken than ever, and I like it from Will Buxton. I imagine now that he doesn't have to potentially see the people that he's talking about, he's been a bit more brave. But yeah, I think I saw him, a clip doing the rounds of Will Buxton, saying that the line in the Red Bull press release, where they said they have a duty of care to Liam, was laughable. I mean, bloody hell. The balls on Will Buxton calling out Mr. Marko and Mr. Horner like that. Fantastic stuff. But yeah, all the best to Liam. I honestly think this is going to be great for him because I think he's going to get in that Racing Bulls car and I think he's going to do really well. The car looks quick. The car looks easy to drive. He's at Suzuka, which is a track he knows very well from his Super Formula days. He's one to watch for the rest of the season. I'm telling you now, people are going to be talking about him as a fantastic driver from here on out. I put out a few things about Liam Lawson over the last few weeks, not just about him being dropped down to the second team, but even before that, I put out like a thing saying like, why do people hate Liam Lawson? And there's a lot of people out there who do hate him, which is just ridiculous. But like, people are like, oh, he's arrogant, he's cocky. Did you not see him on Drive to Survive? Oh, he was so full of himself. I'm like, personally, I love that. I love a arrogant driver who's like, I am the best and I know I'm the best. That's what I like. I think it's funny. So when I saw him on Drive to Survive being like, yeah, I'm the best, I'm like, you go on, back yourself. Fantastic stuff. So I hope that Liam Lawson hasn't disappeared. I want that Liam Lawson back. I know his confidence would have taken a hit over the last few races. But I think he, hopefully, within himself will know that car's a beast, and the one that he's in now is much easier to drive and much quicker. And I hope he just turns up at Japan, and he just goes in there, qualifies in Q3, gets some points, goes over the radio. Not bad for a number 2 driver. Stick it up, you every effing driver. Get out of your way. I'm Liam Lawson. That's what I want. If we'll see it, I don't know. But the Red Bull merry-go-round seemingly might not be over. Now, Helmut Marko has also said that Yuki Tsunoda will be in the Red Bull car until the end of the year, and it's very unlikely that Max Verstappen will leave, unless, of course, he gets that race ban. He's got quite a few penalty points, and he said he was going to have a race ban for when the baby comes, so we'll see what happens there. But there's reports here. Red Bull have scheduled a lot of tests of previous cars, also known as TPCs, for one Arvid Lindblad in Formula 2. Lindblad, who I'm a big fan of. If you watch our Formula 2 content, you know I'm a huge fan of Arvid Lindblad. He's also rated very highly by the Red Bull camp and will be given a lot of test sessions. We'll see how that goes from there. But if Lawson or Hadjar does underperform in the Racing Bulls car, we could potentially see Lindblad be called up this season, and I pretty much cement it in now that he will be in Formula One next year. It feels kind of like Behrman and Antonelli last year, where we went into the Formula 2 season, it was like, it doesn't matter how well they do, they're going to be in F1 next year. Lindblad kind of feels like in that kind of bracket as well. So, still a lot of pressure on Lawson and a lot of pressure on Hadjar, but if they both perform well, there's nothing to worry about. So hopefully they do perform well from there. And finally, some good Red Bull news. Unbelievable, I know, but here it is. They're teasing the Japan liveries coming back. Max Verstappen released his helmet yesterday for Japan, and it is the white and red. They've changed their logo on their social medias to white and red. It's going to come back, everyone. It's going to be there. And that's going to look great for Yuki. His first race in the Red Bull, his home race in a Japan livery. If he does well, that's a dream come true. But let's stop talking about Red Bull for two very quick stories here. Firstly, Valtteri Bottas is now the reserve driver of McLaren. Of course, he is the Mercedes third driver, and Mercedes provide engines for McLaren. So that has been a partnership that's been in place for a while now. Mick Schumacher was a reserve driver for them for a little bit. But they haven't confirmed Bottas yet, but he is a reserve driver for McLaren. I think he was driving around Catalonia this week in the McLaren, so that was pretty cool. And finally, rookie FP1 sessions. They have to do, is it 3 or 4 this year rather than 2? We have our first one confirmed. In Bahrain in FP1, Dino Beganovic will drive for Ferrari, which is very cool. So that is something to look out for in the next coming weeks. As for what's coming on Stop and Go F1 in the next coming weeks, of course, every Tuesday, new episode of Stop and Go F1 Retro Review of 1981. Please watch it. It took ages to make, and the views are okay, but I'd like a few more. I imagine it's the kind of thing people see it and go, I'm not too sure. But everyone who's watched it has loved it so far. The people are commenting, they're going, I love this series. Listen to Edam on Sandwiches. He's watched the whole thing on Patreon. He loved it. It was fantastic. But there you go. That's coming out on Tuesday. Then it is the Japanese Grand Prix and the start of a triple header here on Stop and Go F1. So loads of content to come over the next few weeks. Until then, hopefully my throat will be better and my voice will return to normal. I will see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.